as a sleeve to protect you from the hot contents of the coffee. I have this actually uses 45% less material, and it's recyclable too. So the result was positive. I'll pass this around. Another example of value engineering would be that of a swimming pool. If you have seen the steps in which you descend into the pool, oftentimes they have safety tape that's adhesive on one side, and it has a sandpaper kind of gradient on the upper side of it. Now this increases friction, so when you descend into the pool, you won't slip and fall. That's great. There's other alternatives that could have been done though. You could simply use a punch press on the step and then punch holes without protruding totally through the step, and of course this would cause a gradient. Also too, by simply adding a sand or some type of particle in paint, you could simply spray paint the top of the step, and that would also increase friction. So there are ways of addressing a specific need and identifying if there's unnecessary costs in the product. Those unnecessary costs can be defined as costs which do not contribute to the product. There are three basic contributors to unnecessary costs. These would be mental conditioning. Within mental conditioning is, the three basic contributors are mental conditioning, mental robots, and faulty communication. Within mental conditioning, the lack of creative ideas is a big one. Simply not having creative motivation, or also too not consulting industrial specialists. So with that in mind, you're not getting all the information you need. Another problem is honest wrong beliefs. Oftentimes people are adhered to opinion or hearsay, half-truths, and speculation. And also habits and attitudes. We're all creatures of habits. And oftentimes at the workplace you might find the common thing is to say, well, this is the way we always do it around here, or don't change things, don't make waves. Mental roadblocks. The single solution fixation is the biggest mental roadblock. And I have a challenge I'd like to put on the overhead for you. Well, let's see, the challenge is putting this right side up. Okay. Can you tell me what you see in this picture? How many of you, an old lady, how many of you see an old lady? Raise your hand. Okay, this is actually a picture, yes, of an old lady. You can see her nose here and her jaw. It's also a picture of a young woman. Oftentimes when you get single focused, you only see one thing. A young woman is the eyebrows and the ears here and the nose, and then she has some kind of feather in her cap. This is a good example of how you get singled in on one focus. Faulty communication. Communication is very, very important, and managers spend about 90% of their time communicating. In this, writing is 9%, reading is 16%, talking is 30%, listening is 35%, and 10% is for other communication mediums. So, communicating well is very important. Before you enter into a value analysis project, you may want to perform some value analysis tests. And this is just a simple, just simply asking some questions about where you're going to try to remove costs within the project. One thing you can ask is, does it contribute value? Another question you might want to ask is, its cost proportionate to its usefulness? Does it meet all the features? part be made with a lower cost method? Will another dependable supplier supply it for less? Do material, reasonable labor, and overhead and profit total the cost? Can a standard product be found which will be usable? In introduction, one method for a value analysis project, as you're probably familiar with, is the systematic approach. During a value analysis project, you're going to ask a lot of questions, you're going to gather a lot of information, and there's going to be a number of alternatives that are proposed. So having a systematic approach to pursuing this is a good way to keep momentum in the right direction. There are 7 steps to the systematic approach, and it is often referred to as the job plan. The first step is the general phase, the information phase, followed by the creation phase, evaluation phase, investigation phase, and the recommendation phase. Then finally, there's actually an additional step, implementation phase. Whoever you're doing the project for, it is always helpful to give them some idea of how they are to implement it, and it is easier for them to take your project seriously that way. The general phase is pretty much a philosophy for the other phases, and it involves basically just good human relations. The ultimate success in or outside of business is into knowing how to work with people is very important. Also, use good business judgment. You want to do what is prudent for the organization. Inspire teamwork. Instill that there's a goal, and look for, if you're working in a team on your value analysis project, instill that there is a goal, and also look for intrinsic as well as extrinsic rewards. And the information phase, this is pretty much the backbone of your value analysis project. This is where you're going to gather raw data. This could be in the form of a bill of materials. It could also be in AutoCAD drawings. Also, understanding of the production process that's involved in making whatever this product is that you're doing an analysis project on. Also, a list of suppliers is important, so you can compare their costs of the supplies that they're administering compared to other suppliers in the area. The function phase is where you want to identify the function of the product in which you're intending to remove unnecessary costs. My example would be, this function would be to thermally insulate. In the example I gave of the steps, the function would be to simply increase friction. And of course, there's primary and secondary functions. I don't know that this adds aesthetic value to it, but maybe with the label on it, you can say that the primary function is to thermally insulate, the secondary function is to add aesthetic value. Now, following the function phase is the creation phase, and this could be the most difficult of all the phases. You have to employ somewhat of a judgmental aspect of mind, but you also want to be free to be creative. I want to put a little challenge on the board to challenge your creativity. What I have here is some dots. Actually, if I could have you get out a piece of paper for me and a pencil, and try to space these dots out evenly. What I'd like you to do is make 4 lines and never lift your pencil and only have one of the lines cross one time.
4 lines.
evaluation phase, you want to see if any of these ideas hold, are valid. Also, using company standards is important because you don't want to reinvent the wheel. You basically want to stay with what standards